So welcome back, everyone, to our penultimate weekend of our Citizens' Assembly on biodiversity loss. Thank you, everybody, again for being here for what is going to be another full weekend. You'll see that we have a picture up here from our field trip in June, and I want to share the very sad and unfortunate news that one of our members, Howard Woods, passed away a number of weeks ago in October. We just found out before this meeting. So I want to take a moment just to remember Howard, because he was with us in May and with us on the field trip as well, and to pass on our sincere condolences to his family. And I wouldn't mind if everyone could just stand up, and we'll just take 10 seconds just to remember and acknowledge Howard and his contribution to the work. Thank you, everyone. It's a sad way to start the weekend, but as I said, we just want to acknowledge that. We've sent our condolences to his family from the Citizens' Assembly, but just want to acknowledge that with everybody here today. So to move on, thank you, Cathal. We had a really useful, informative and varied meeting 3 weeks ago. I want to thank you all for bringing the process of deliberative democracy and Citizens' Assembly alive, because I think the discussions and the questions are absolutely integral to the process, and I'm looking forward to similar discussions and conversations this weekend. To follow up on some of the questions that were left over from last weekend, they have been responded to and they're now on the members' website, but we're also going to respond to them in the plenary session tomorrow morning. So if there's anything else that arises from that, and I've already spoken to some people over breakfast of some issues that we'd like to have another chat about, so we'll do that tomorrow with our expert advisory group in the plenary session tomorrow morning. I also want to say to you that I wasn't up until 4 o'clock last night. It just sounds like that. I have a cold that I can't shake. So I do apologise in advance for being slightly less articulate and less, well, a lot more coughing will be happening, I think, this weekend as well. But I've checked and triple checked, and it's not COVID, but I'll try not to breathe on anyone over the course of the weekend as well. You'll also see that Art is back in the chair. I'm delighted that the Aussies didn't convince him to stay. So thank you very much, Art, for being back. I want to take the opportunity as well to sincerely thank Tim Carey. Where is he? He's at the back of the room now. That's not a demotion, Tim, that you happen to be at the back, but I want to thank Tim, who's the principal officer with the Secretariat, for all his work, not only on the stage last weekend, making sure all the proceedings ran smoothly and supporting me in the role of the chair. He actually even went out and got XP-Tex during one of the discussions last week to make sure that I was okay to continue, but also just for all of his work from the beginning of the Assembly. And I'm really learning that with all of the Secretariat, they're kind of living and breathing this. I'm not sure any of them actually sleep. There's so much that happens in the background, as you can imagine, not only to get the speakers together here, get all their presentations, get everything here on time, make sure everything's organised for this, but also to collate everything from every single meeting. There's so much work happening on that in the background. So with that, I would like to take the opportunity before I rush it on Sunday tomorrow, which I always do. So I want to thank Tim and Cathal, Lorraine, Caroline, Denise, Connor, Lorraine, Ella, Julianne, Katie, Niall, Roisin and Caitlin for all the time, the energy, the expertise and the attention to detail that they're putting into this. So this weekend now we're starting our discussions under the theme From the Mountains to the Sea. So we're looking at freshwater, we'll be looking at marine environments. Tomorrow we'll have our urban landscapes, and I'm delighted as well that we'll be hearing from the Children and Young People's Assembly later this morning about their work, and you can see some of the work that they've been doing, which they've captured so beautifully in this colourful artwork. It's probably a bit late for us to start doing this, but we'll maybe take inspiration from the children and the young people, and I'm looking forward to what they came up with, and I'm sure there'll be synergies with what our recommendations are as well. I'm also really excited this weekend because we start doing the work properly to draft the recommendations. A quote has come to mind this morning for me that, like, laws are like sausages. You really shouldn't see how they're made. And this is kind of where we are, in that we're not making a law, but we're making a recommendation that we'll give to the Oireachtas that we hope will make it into policy and maybe even into law. So this is messy, but I'm going to show you what we've been doing in the background to make sure it's all transparent, and we're going to give that back to you this evening to get your feedback on it, because this is yours. So we've tried to take what you've said in the discussions and what you've said in the solutions and parse it into succinct statements, and we're going to give that back to you and ask you, have we captured what you've said? Is there everything in there? And we'll have time now to work and edit that. And that's what we're going to keep doing now, between now and our very last hour in the next meeting in the last weekend.